In terms of cryptocurrencies generally, I can say almost with certainty that they will come to a bad ending. Now, when it happens or how or anything else, I don't know. But I know this, if I could buy long-term puts, if I could buy a 5-year put on every one of the cryptocurrencies, I'd be glad to do it. I think that anytime you buy a non-productive asset, you are counting on somebody else later on to buy a non-productive asset because they think they can sell it to somebody for more money. And it's been tried with tulips, and it's been tried with various things over time, and it does come to a bad ending. Imagine people selling their homes to buy a tulip in Amsterdam. If people think they're going to make money the next day, and worse yet, if they think somebody else that they know is going to make money and they aren't going to make money, it just draws people in. You know, I could whisper something on this program, and kind of the more sillier it was, the more it might react, because there's no quantitative limits. If you buy a stock, you say, well, I'll buy it at 15 times earnings, but I won't buy it at 20 times earnings. But when you get into something that doesn't produce anything, you know, there's no checkpoints. There's nothing to reference it to. It's just, it's gone up, so it'll keep going.
Yeah, I will.
Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And in this video, I'm actually going to do something very interesting. We just watched a little video by, I believe, Business Basics, who just compiled a couple of different clips from Warren Buffett, which basically talks about why he's so bearish on these non-productive assets. However, I've been doing a little bit of digging around the interwebs, and I honestly believe there's a very good chance, and this is real guys, that he's turning around. How? Well, you see that in this video. But all I'm asking for you guys is to, first of all, hear the video out. Stay watching for a little bit and then make up your opinion. You might call Warren Buffett an idiot or a genius, it doesn't matter, but he's been a very successful investor. And I definitely think his opinion from some perspective does matter about these things, mostly because he has such experience with investing and this technology is quite new. Having said that, if he thinks Bitcoin is bad, we think it's good, we don't have to fight each other. We can both have our own opinions. It's still, I believe, a smart thing to hear them out as to why they think such a thing. He's not completely closed to all these ideas. It's just something he doesn't know. But that we'll get to in just a second here. Watch this video, guys, and make sure you press that like button on the video right now. I'm trying to get this video to 1,000 likes. That would be very cool, but do as you please.
You have been a big bull on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
We had some folks that some people know on our show earlier this week. Becky was out in Omaha. I want to show you what they had to say if we could roll the tape on Bitcoin from Mr. Munger and Mr. Buffett.
The asset itself is creating nothing.
I think it's a scumball activity.
I would short it if there was an easy way to do it.
So there you have it. You have Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger. One of them was calling it a scumball activity. The other saying, Bill Gates saying he would short this thing if he could. And you're saying they're all wrong.
Yeah.
Explain.
Well, look, not everybody is right all the time. And I think we have to acknowledge that we all have biases. And look, I'm a disciple of Buffett and Munger. And one of the things that they have said for years, which I believe, is you define a circle of competence and you stay within it. And I think it's been clear in his entire investing career that technology is not in his circle of competence. And so the only technology name that he's owned is Apple. I mean, you could claim that IBM was a technology company. That's borderline.
It's out of that. That didn't work anyway.
Right.
And Apple, I was thinking that if he got in Bitcoin, if he eventually got in Bitcoin, when he eventually got into Apple, it'd already be at $1 million probably.
Probably.
But Chamath, just going back to this, I don't think he looks at it as a technology. I think he looks at it as an asset class that he would put in a similar class with gold. Just it's a non-productive asset. It's an asset that is only worth more if other people agree to pay more for it. That's the type of issue that he's talking about.
Which I also agree with. I think it is exactly that. I think it is a replacement to gold. But again...
But you like gold. You're saying you like non-productive assets.
I like in a portfolio, again, my portfolio is 99% risk on, 1% risk off.
All right, I guess I have to stop the video right there. I don't want to let the copyright monsters get too angry with me here. This was a clip from CNBC where this individual, whose surname is very hard to pronounce, I butchered it a couple of times, deleted my video, so let's not try that again. he basically talks about a very important subject, actually a couple of them. One, the last thing which I cut off here is basically where he explains how this last part of his portfolio, he would rather have Bitcoin or gold because it's not really correlated to traditional markets. Now, that's something that's up for debate. We have analyzed it a couple of times, and all right, little fun fact, it's a day later right now because I just noticed that 3 minutes inside of the full video, I recorded without sound. Yes, I make mistakes like that. So I put on the same outfit, different house, different everything, but we're going on. So what I wanted to say about his situation is he's basically using Bitcoin as a hedge against your traditional portfolio, right? Now, Warren Buffett, there's a very interesting thing which came out yesterday that he's basically done. Apparently, they invested a new $1 billion into the Bitcoin-friendly Nubank. There's a couple of things to state right here. Nubank is pretty acquainted with crypto, and it's not their first investment. Again, what I'm doing actually is this is a video that I recorded yesterday, again, without sound, and I'm just kind of scrolling through to kind of stay on the same page of what I was saying in that, so I don't, completely talk about everything twice or something like that, because the rest of the video, I think I can play normally. All right, so apparently they invested about $1 billion into Nubank, which was pretty innovative, right? We're all like, wow. But it's actually not the first time that they've done that. You can clearly see right here, Warren Buffett-backed Brazilian crypto bank plans a $2 billion, well, apparently in June, Nubank managed to secure a $500 million investment from Berkshire Hathaway, despite Buffett notoriously hating Bitcoin. And below that, it reads, Berkshire Hathaway invests $500 million in Brazilian digital bank, and as a result of that investment, Nubank now offers investment in Bitcoin through QR Bitcoin ETF, one of Easy Invest products, yada, yada, yada. So there's a couple of links missing here for a little bit. It's not too relevant, though. The most relevant part is the connection between what Chamath said earlier. If you guys listen to that speech, what he said is that you invest in sectors and you stay within that sector, basically. It's also something that Warren Buffett says a lot. And so the fact that he has invested in this technology before, and when, again, in June already, they're talking in this sense about trying to work as much as possible with Bitcoin, in some perspective, them kind of doubling down on that and investing another $1 billion into this, that's very significant, guys. That's a very significant deal. Now, as you'll see further in this video, I honestly believe there's a very high probability that Warren Buffett's strategy is shifting. And again, from another perspective, or I guess the same perspective, from another side, Warren Buffett always states in any one of his speeches that they look at what company needs capital the most and they put a lot of money into that. And that's why he cares about value investing. Elon Musk also says his job is pretty boring because you read through all those annual reports. Very boring job, very strict job, but hey, it is what it is, and he definitely seems to like it because, again, it creates the most amount of value, or he, from that perspective, knows where to place the most amount of money / capital. Having said that, the fact that he now thinks that this crypto bank, all right, this digital bank needs the money a lot, it shows some sort of shift. Together with the fact, of course, that more and more banks, as we'll see later in the balance sheets of Berkshire Hathaway, are getting into crypto, it shows some relative shift, I would say, from their perspective or their portfolio. And so really it could be that they're going to focus a lot more on crypto in this tech sector, which they really haven't done before. And that could be a really big thing. Also, maybe Warren Buffett is just opening up to the idea that it's not really a non-productive asset because, well, maybe he's starting to have to see it as money. Why would you invest in a bank? It has services right there. Is a bank really that different from decentralized finance? Is it really? It depends on your perspective, but I would say it's decentralized, but it does, for a good part, a lot of the same things. So is it really non-productive then? Is a bank non-productive? It's a thin line between what exactly is the non-productive asset, what exactly does nothing. Are you going to say the currency is non-productive? Well, I mean, there's an Ethereum, for example, which can actually, or another crypto you want to pick with the proof of stake, where you can actually generate yield on that specific asset for just owning it, basically, and interacting with the protocol, or voting rewards. Is that then non-productive? It's such a difficult little sector, but maybe it's just required for them to look into it further. Now, his business partner, you guys all know him, he also talked here at the start a little bit. I think he, yesterday or today, somewhere along these lines, actually doubled down in explaining how he dislikes Bitcoin. I think his name is Munger, right? I have it somewhere earlier in this video where he stated, I'm not exactly sure where in the video he is, but somewhere in the video, Munger came in to basically state how much he dislikes his technology as well. Here we go. And he doubled down a little bit earlier today, or yeah, like yesterday somewhere, to basically state how much he dislikes it. But hey, who really cares? You can dislike something and still get really heavy of an investment into it. So whatever. Okay, before my microphone decided to kill itself, or I guess I kind of did it because I pulled the cord by accident, I wanted to basically talk about how technology in banks is going up and up and up anyway, and most banks in some way, shape, or form are going to have to do more in the technology realm, where, for example, talking about a JPM coin, right, or anything that has to do with Bank of America, they're going to go for a coin, Bank of New York Mellon Corp, they're going to go in some way, shape, or form with these newer technologies and in some way, shape, or form either embracing Bitcoin or being fully against it, or I guess as a third option to kind of be the intermediary but not go fully for it. Point being, look at the crazy amount of holdings that they have in Amazon, Activision, Blizzard, and whatnot. This is something rather interesting that comes from, I guess, from Chamath's side, where he kind of explains, and he's a disciple, I guess, of Warren Buffett, that they're not really so heavily in technology. And I kind of would have embraced that for the longest time. Looking at their portfolio, though, again, a lot of these Activision Blizzard. Remember, guys, remember this. Remember that thing which we saw a little while ago over in I guess in my videos, you could have seen it, or on the internet. Microsoft went for a $69 billion deal with Activision Blizzard for the metaverse to expand on that. And again, if we look at the list, they're, I wouldn't say too crazy invested in it, but they have a good amount of money inside it, $1.2 billion in that specific realm. Again, this is going to be bought over by Microsoft, I guess, so that kind of connection becomes a little bit more difficult. And for a lot of these guys, I just don't know exactly, what they would do. I'd have to look every single one of these companies up to really dive deeper in it. However, looking through the internet, I saw here as well they have Visa, for example, and apparently, again, just looking through it a little bit, they're also lowering, I saw it somewhere, I don't remember exactly which page it was here, that they're lowering their stock in Visa and lowering it in one of the other ones, like MasterCard. So here we go. Yeah, they increased for $1 billion in Brazilian digital. Nubank reduces MasterCard and Visa positions. I guess it kind of doesn't make sense from the perspective that those two, MasterCard and Visa, are definitely spearheads in the crypto space as well, because of course they have the card everywhere. However, from another perspective, you might also say, if you are reducing your positions from physical cards, think about this logically, a Visa, a MasterCard, you also have them digitally, but mostly physical cards, and you're investing into a little digital bank, and you're making that way out for yourself. And if you've seen a couple of videos of Warren Buffett, you most likely know he always tells you which company needs the most amount of capital. And Elon Musk always criticizes this because it's a very boring job, he says. But he looks through the reports and says, what company has the most amount of impact or can do the most amount with the money that we give it or the money that we put in? If he now thinks that digital bank Nubank, which is very friendly on Bitcoin in the literal sense, deserves capital more so than physical cards like MasterCard and Visa, that says something, guys. At least to me, that says something. Then again, guys, to conclude a little bit, I don't want to say he's necessarily right, wrong, or all of a sudden going to go all in on Bitcoin or anything like that. All I'm trying to do is kind of connect a couple of dots and explain potentially why a lot of these bigger investment behemoths from the past, so to speak, ancient relics, 95 years old, not just joking a little bit, how they might eventually transition into this crypto space, purely because it's kind of inevitable. Whatever they invest in, eventually it has to do with crypto in some way, shape, or form, I personally think. But also, they might call it rat poison from one perspective and kind of think about it differently. What I kind of want to say with that is, he said it's rat poison squared before, I believe, right? But then again, a person like Bill Gates has said, again, another thing, like if I could short it, I would, which he can. He definitely can. Again, link down below for Bybit. Check it out. You can definitely short Bitcoin if you want to. If they have said that, yet they're going really full in on the metaverse, in my opinion, most parts of that will eventually have to do with NFTs and crypto in some way, shape, or form. I just personally think that's going to be the option, in the same sense that Web3 is going to be the standard eventually. It's what we're kind of turning into. Having said that, them once saying it's rat poison can literally be just saying same thing about the internet, It looks bad until you actually see the adoption, because it's a newer technology that you cannot understand, and specifically because it goes against the majority of the principles you've heard about before. I like the Chamath approach, though, which is don't go full in, all in. You just have a very large portfolio in one sector that you know well, you want to make money and you think will do well. And then you have a percentage to offset that, or something that's not correlated to traditional, or basically a disruptor of sorts, which is not the normal sort of investing. For Warren Buffett, if you've done for 80 years, traditional investing that's based upon value, and all of a sudden this cryptocurrency that goes up in a decentralized manner has nothing to do with the banks and nobody really can control. They don't have control over it. They can if they go really hard on the mining if they really want to, but they don't necessarily have control over it. It might just feel a little bit too loose for a person like Warren Buffett to fully get invested into straight away. But in time, he might also see the correlation effects or the benefits of that. He might also understand it's going to be everywhere. He might also understand a lot of these newer banks that need your capital the most are the ones that are innovating the most. And literally, those are going to be going for crypto. So that's, again, my opinion on the matter, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you press that like button. At the end of the day, I meant no harm. I don't think Warren Buffett means too much harm in all of his words either. He's just trying to portray his opinion to people. At the end of the day, he doesn't have to. I think he's doing that because he literally wants to. Because I'm thinking sometimes as well, this man, he's relatively old, right? I think we can all come to the same conclusion. Is he giving a speech for more goodwill? I don't think so. Is he giving a speech purely to boost his own ego? I don't think so. I think it's literally because people want to hear what he has to say. Because, again, he's been so good at investing for so many decades. People want to hear. And so when he says something like this about Bitcoin, I think all he's trying to do is protect the people's interest. I don't think it's purely to boost his own stocks or portfolio. Because the other side, I see it from, again, I don't think he has the aspirations to become the richest person on earth, again, if he's ever been that, or to create even more value out of the company by manipulating his words. I'm not sure if that's his aspiration still. I think he's just trying to do what he likes in the best way, shape, or form possible, and he's trying to advise people in the best way as well. So I don't take any foul, any harm. Can he be wrong? That's for sure, though. So, yeah, that was it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you press the like button and subscribe. And it was a little bit more theoretical, but I think it was a lot of fun.